Hey, it's Paris. You know, I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Back with another episode of Keeping Current with Kansas City. This is Thad Bell from the KC Soccer Journal. With me, I have, which one should I go with first today? Alphabetical or height or beauty or brains or top left on my screen is Carrie Robinson, also from the KC Soccer Journal and Off to See the Wizard. And the bottom portion of my screen is the very informative and late Daniel Sperry. Late, not meaning he's dead. From the KC Star, but
rip. Yeesh.
How are you, Mr. Sperry?
Sick children are not fun to have to work with. I love them, and I like it when they feel better, but they really want all the things too quick, and they make themselves sick again, and it's not fun. But all in all, I'm surviving, I'm thriving, and I'm here to talk soccer about the best soccer team on paper in Kansas City at the moment, and probably the NWSL. So probably. Pretty much. Pretty much.
I mean, like, where does a first place power ranking for however many weeks team sit in the probably category? Come on, man. So
I can't be a total homer all the time. Come on now.
It's not being a homer. We said this stuff about Orlando last year, right? So anyway.
Oh, I didn't.
Carrie,
so
how
I
you
got
doing?
Shut up,
Sperry. Shut up, Sperry.
I'm doing good. I did my fantasy draft for football during the first half of the current game, so got everything out of the way.
So
We're
you
good.
missed the 2 goals.
No, I watched those 2 goals. I think there is 10-ish people in my draft, give or take. And so when everyone has 2 minutes to pick, you're sitting there for minutes at a time waiting.
Were these not
for the
soccer
next
fans?
text.
Were they not there watching, or even at the other team across town?
No, they're all my sister's friends. And actually my sister, her husband, and their friend were both in Japan, which is why it was pushed to 6 p.m. draft of all reasons. So I was updating them in the chat of the draft, just saying goal, and my sister was liking all of them.
So I know Mr. Sperry ran away. He looked like he spilled something and ran off, but I don't really know what happened there. He'll be back. Um, Much more enjoyable game than the previous game, at least as far as weather-wise.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking back to the last week was Portland, and it was still more enjoyable weather than it was in Portland.
Very, very true. Although I was referencing back to the last game of Kansas City is what I meant. I didn't say it all the way, but Sperry is back. You can tell by that little chuckle there.
I was playing with a pen and there's black ink. I looked down and there was I on my trackpad on the computer there was a giant black like smudges and I was like, what? And I looked down and my fingers were just like coated in this black ink and I was like, well, that pen is dead and it's all over my fingers. So sorry. Yes, it was much nice. It was wonderful on Saturday. I'll say that, by the way. I walked 18 holes of golf earlier in the day and then went out. Like it was so nice. I was like, I'm walking. I'm walking here. And then I thoroughly enjoyed games at both CPKC and Children's Mercy Park because that weather was glorious. It's much needed after the hellish summer we have had so far.
Summer's not even been that bad. It was just a bad game.
Okay, says the guy who wears long sleeves every day in July.
It's barely been 100.
I would like to think it was hot, and
It's
I'm the one
pretty.
that worked outside, so I get the last say.
That's true.
Well, you get a higher vote than Sperry. That's for damn sure. All right. 2-0 win. A kind of weird flukish goal by Izzy. And then a penalty that may or may not have been deserved. What do we want to start with? Okay, Izzy. Happy for her, but I'm not sure that was the best moment for the opposing keeper there.
Yeah, it was a weird one. It was definitely a time where we look at Casey Murphy and we're like, maybe she's not as good as we thought she was, at least in recent years with the national team call-ups. But it was definitely one of those. It wasn't meant to probably be a shot, but it bounced weird. It was definitely just meant to cross it back into the middle again.
Yeah, it was a
It's one
very
of those.
awkward dive on that she completely whiffed on.
Well, it's one of those too. Like, this happens a lot in the men's game because sometimes, I mean, we'll say it, they strike the ball a lot harder sometimes, and more often, really. And when you have those crosses or those free kicks that come in from tight angles, especially if you have someone that can put a lot of pace and whip on it, you'll see it where they will get the height on it, or it will just tease like it's gonna glance off someone's head, and then you'll see nobody touches it, and it like sneaks in the corner, because everyone's waiting for the touch and the deflection, and then it never happens. I feel like that's what happened with Casey Murphy. Like you watch, like none of the current players truly attacked that cross, but it was
No.
dangerous and nasty and teasing. And if you're in the goalkeeper situation, you kind of come for it, but you can't because then by the time you get there, the ball's going to be behind you, and you're going to be late to a cross that someone's heading into the back post. But then nobody, so she stops, but then nobody gets to the ball, even the defenders for North Carolina, and it bounces. And with the type of spin that Rodriguez put on that, that was always going to bounce in the goal. So it is the perfect ball that you want from your forward, from your wing back in that situation, because North Carolina conceivably is coming back out after the initial clearance of the corner kick, and that is an opportunity for someone to sneak in while they're trying to push the offside line up, and you just sneak in on the end of that ball and head it back across the goal and goes in. But no one attacked it, and it threw everybody off, and Casey Murphy looked silly. But I want to say this, it was on the result of second or third corner kick that they put directly onto Casey Murphy and the near post. I mean, they were trying to work North Carolina at the near post. They were
Yep.
trying to crowd out Casey Murphy and make it difficult for her to claim and come for anything. They clearly had a target, and Vlaco did not want to expound upon it after the game, when I asked about it. and because I think there's probably you don't want to totally disrespect a goalkeeper, and that's somewhat within the women's national team pool. But it was a very clear weakness that they decided to really pick on, and they did so to success. They almost had a couple of goals out of it in reality. So well done to do it, and the goal comes out of that kind of scenario.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was picking on Casey Murphy as much as picking on the defense that they saw weakness in how they set it up, but it could be that they saw weakness in Casey Murphy. Uh, Initially, when you said that you started your analysis there about this is a type of goal you see often in, I thought you were going to go like U10 games, but no.
Well, it can be because no one has the ball and the goalkeeper just flails at it. But I feel like I want to say a player for Sporting scored a goal off of a free kick in really similar fashion earlier this year. They just ripped that ball in a spot where maybe someone might get a glance or a touch on it, and it sneaks through everyone and sneaks into the back post.
Yeah, I think was it maybe Shopee or
It
somebody like
was.
launched one in
Yeah, it
and
was
it just
Shoppies.
skipped through.
Yep.
Um, so we won't be as critical of Casey Murphy as perhaps some would have been. Although I do have to like make bad jokes. Uh, Carrie, did that goal surprise you though? I mean, were you looking up for your draft, your football
I
draft?
was, I was. So was my dad because he was helping me on like those later rounds. But yeah, it was it was one of those instances that you look at it and you see everyone else celebrating and you're like, oh, that I don't know. It was just one of those things you just didn't expect to actually go in.
I think one of these days we got to have your dad on the pod. What do you think, Carrie?
He I told you every single time that I walk back into my parents' house, he's like, "Hey, I just finished one of your pods," or "I'm about three-quarters into your current podcast." So,
All right,
hello, Dad.
Carrie's dad. Let me know. I will sneak you an invite and get you on. We'll surprise Carrie. So you can tell stories about her soccer ability.
Wait. So we'd have Carrie, Sperry, and Gary.
Oh, this is golden. This is it.
All right.
This is what the listeners want. Give us Gary.
Gary, Gary,
Okay.
Gary. All right. Yeah, I'm not changing my name to Ryan. Sorry. All right, moving on. Uh, Current were looking good, had better the possession, shots, etc. And but it came down to the second goal was a penalty when Timois when a penalty was called when Timois fell down in the box. I was going to say taken down, but that's doesn't feel accurate. Uh, what did you see on that play, Carrie? Carrie.
I am on the northern part of the stadium, so when I saw it, there's contact made from my view. But going back and looking at it, I'm surprised that they didn't try to overturn it with the VAR.
How about you, Daniel?
So you do not have to make contact with a player for it to be considered a foul. It is only if you impede their ability to play the ball. And Temwa is clearly the one who gets the first touch on the ball. Kaylee Kurtz does not. Kaylee Kurtz made a slide tackle that Chewinga either takes the brunt of or gets her feet out from under her. And it's also one that you don't really like jump over anyway. Like I don't know. It's a slide tackle from behind. It's not smart. It's not a good thing. I think if this was a penalty kick called against the Current, I think there would have been much more outrage from Kansas City media and maybe even me alike. But we do have to understand that you don't have to make contact with someone. And she did not make contact with the ball, but she certainly impeded and hindered Chewinga's ability to get to the next ball. the next touch on the ball, which was possible because that touch was not taking the ball out of bounds. So to me, I'm fine. I don't see it as a clear and obvious error because I do think there's no way for Chewinga to like Chewinga avoids the contact much more so than Kaylee Kurtz doesn't touch Chewinga, if that makes sense.
It was
It's
more
50
her avoiding the potential being taken down. Uh,
correct.
and there was a
If
little bit of hand contact
it's
between the two.
just yep, it's just in my opinion though. And to me, I if that wasn't called on the field, I don't think that's ever getting called a penalty kick on VAR. I don't know that there was because of that standard that exists for calling a foul straight up, straight down, that you don't have to touch the player. You just have to impede their ability to get to the ball. That wasn't ever going to come back as clear and obvious. But I understand those who feel aggrieved by it. So you can air your grievances. Welcome to soccer. It's subjective a lot of the time from officials. That's how the game is.
Really? I hadn't noticed. Uh, I think I may not have called that if I was the referee. And I would say, even looking back at it, I may not have called it because there was not that contact. And I know it may not be the official rule, but there's the there's the official rule and there's the how it's called rule. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I've seen that very play not called quite often because there wasn't any real contact.
But if that play happens at midfield, no one's batting an eye over whether or not it's because of the consequence of
Right.
where that occurred. And
Absolutely.
to me, that is the thing, is like how many times do we ask referees to legislate the game in the box the same way they would outside the box? So to me, it's not a whole lot different. And I can that and that's why I I don't I don't 100% agree with the call. I'm just trying to give maybe some perspective as to why it stood. It's one of those that, like you said, I don't know if I would have called it, but because it was called the way it was, I don't think it was ever going to get overturned by VAR.
I am actually surprised there was no pool reporter questions on it from somebody from North Carolina, though, unless they did and we never heard it.
Yeah, well, no one from North Carolina ever reached out to the on-site pool reporter
Yeah,
um, to try and coordinate that.
Well, Carolina's a little busy right now trying to hire everyone.
Yes. So
yeah, but it would have been media, not the necessarily the.
Well,
it
they're trying
cannot
to
come from the comm staff.
they're
If it
trying to cover everything
We
else.
have, as someone who has been working with pro referees in MLS side, we have done everything we can to get club media out of being involved in the
Yeah,
pool report thing because that is not an objective or unbiased scenario. So, but yes,
I
no one
would
from North
not.
Carolina ever reached out. Well, this is like last week in Portland, I reached out to Fuquin and lodged a pool report question there, and said, "Hey, would you be willing to ask this question for us?" Sure, done.
Yeah,
If a North Carolina person had come to me and said, "Hey, would you ask a pool report question on that penalty kick?" I might have submitted it because it would have been easy to do. But just I don't know. To me, it was one of those where I think it was. I think it's to me, if you know the laws of the game, I think it's clear why that one stood. And uh, in the 50-50, unable to call it a clear and obvious error. But that's okay. I'll be happy to be wrong sometimes.
uh, this is one of those. There's not really 100% right or wrong, in my opinion. You're not wrong in what you said. You gave a very logical presentation on what you saw. I would say I would not necessarily have called it that way, but then again, live, I might not have called it the same way as I saw it later. So, but it did happen right in front of me, quite honestly. So it was,
Yeah.
um, but that's again why referees get paid the big bucks, right?
Hmm.
They have to see this stuff in motion while they're running, dodging other people. players that can run faster than them, all that good stuff. So
Yep.
as much as we do complain about the refs, it is not an easy job. So give them
Yep.
that. And some of them prove it's not an easy job quite often.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Ooh. Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
All right, Carrie, else did you see in this game?
Big fan of Lorena. I think she had some really good saves. A lot were taken just like loft shots basically, and she was able to get back and get a hand onto them, either somehow catch some of them or just tip them over. I thought she had a really good game. And some of those shots, looking at goalkeepers that we've had just in the past, the entire club, I think that most of those goals or shots might have gone in.
Some of those keepers in the past would have let most of those in. I would not necessarily disagree. Second game in a row that Suttner got a start. Again, player rotation, especially on the offensive side. You think this is just Vlaco rotating players to make sure they all stay fresh, or making sure their legs are not, getting too tired, making sure that everybody gets a chance to bond and meld?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta play those players together at some point to get them to figure it out in terms of how to play with each other. So I'm interested to see what this team looks like in Bay. But also when you're a team that has this far of a cushion, you can kind of experiment for a little bit and see what you want to do. They were up 1-0 on Portland going into the second half. He finally pulled the trump card and threw Cooper and Dabinia into the mix and said, ha 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 ha, deal with this now, Portland. And after this one, he said, here's Dabinia. And then later, here comes Bia Zanerato and everyone else after we started, an interesting group. So I don't know. I think it's a mix of trying to figure things out and who works best with whom to make sure you can kind of hone in some of those plays. And Centnor deserved that start after how she played in Portland. I thought she deserved an opportunity to play at the 10. And Dabinia, we got to work our way back in a different spot. I think this team is a little bit different now than the one that she left when she got hurt in Orlando. And I don't know that it's a bad thing that she may have to find her way in this team again, in the sense that like that false nine role can really move players around. And when you have a three-person back line, like three center backs, like North Carolina did, one of them, ideally, you would say, here, you mark Bia the entire time, or have someone shadow Temwa the entire time, and that leaves two others doing something. Well, if you have a false nine like Dabinia and a Centnor who is not an out and out number nine, he kind of plays in the hole as a 10 or a second striker too. Now you really are yanking people in and out of position all along that North Carolina back line by dragging them in and out of the midfield because likely they're man marking. So they're man marking at least one player on that front line for the current. So the back three. So it makes it kind of interesting.
I know Sentner did pretty well in Portland. I'm not sure if she did as well in this last game. And again, it's watching it half of it live and going back and watching half of it on video. It felt like there was some connections that she missed that maybe it just needing to know those players better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And not knowing Dabinia as well and some of that stuff because it felt like some of those were to her or meant to be to her.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's probably to some other players too. But do you do you think that Sentner was as good in this game as in Portland?
No, I think she
No.
kind of got lost in that midfield. Maybe it was just how Carolina was able to pick off some passes here and there, but compared to what it was in Portland, she stood out in Portland. This game, not so much. But then again, in the Portland game, I mean, Lowe had a pretty mid game, and Ali Sentner was able to kind of surprise or to kind of raise her game, and it was kind of vice versa here. So maybe it's just our other midfielders are just picking out the right passes, doing everything they can, and she's just the one that just so happens to be the one that's not getting every single one correct and misses just one, and compared to the other two, it's just not as great.
I actually thought North Carolina controlled the midfield spaces and numbering pretty well against the current, especially in that first half. They made it hard for the current. A lot of the current's buildup was basically go down the channels as much as they could. They were going to Chwinga down the channel. They were going to Cooper down the channel and trying to cross and work people in behind to the end line, kind of from the around the edge of the 18s and stuff like that, and to get those cutbacks and crosses there. And North Carolina really forced them out wide by the numbers, the sheer numbers that they had in the midfield. And I thought that was a really interesting setup, and that does happen when you have, you know, essentially at times are playing 4-2-4 or 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1, however you want to call it with that midfield. It's not a true 4-3-3 where you have three players in the midfield at all the time. And so it seemed like North Carolina kind of boxed in that midfield and had four at least three or four players in that midfield just to try and break up the Currents press either through passes themselves and spread it out wide and go, or when they were able to kind of break up the Currents attempt to play through the midfield. Like you said, some of that service from Centnor into the striker position wasn't hitting, but also some of the service to Centnor wasn't hitting also from the midfield. So it was an interesting kind of tactical battle that the Current eventually overwhelmed by sheer power and might and the power of friendship. But it was an interesting game. I wanted to come back here to what um uh what Carrie was talking about with Lorena. Um, the Courage only had a very low XG on the night. They only had one chance that had an expected goal number of higher than point 0.1. And it was 0.11, so it's not great. And that was Manaka's chance that got blocked late in the first half. But Manaka had a good chance from 16 yards out, and then that volley that was saved from Ashley Sanchez shot outside the box. Actually filmed it on my phone, and it is a heck of a save. The post shot expected goal number on that was 0.48, and that's one of the highest PSXG that Lorena has faced in like the last 4 or 5 games on shots. So there were, like you said, there were a couple of chances that it looked like they had locked up on the courage that Lorena played again. I think one of her better. Like there are she has 11 clean sheets this season, right? Like that's absolutely ridiculous. But there have been some games where she has had to do very little, and or hasn't had to make a major save. And I always think it's impressive when goalkeepers don't have a whole lot to do, that they come up big even on the biggest moments and the biggest saves. And that save in the 9th minute, man, the Courage go ahead early in that game. It becomes a really tough game for the Current, and I thought that save absolutely kept the game at a reasonable spot for the Current to stay in it, and they found their way through. They didn't have a shot. The Current didn't register a shot for the first 20 minutes of the game. So in that early sledding there, that save on Sanchez was massive.
What
It
did
was.
what XG did Izzy's have?
Izzy's had 0.01.
Okay.
But
I was just curious.
the PSXG number was a 0.25, which was their third best chance of the night. So um,
Just
there's another one
curious.
in the 30th minute, left-footed shot from Sentnor that was saved. It had a 0.06, but the placement of it was a 0.45 post-shot expected goal number. Obviously, Lowe's PSXG was going to be stupid high from where she placed that penalty. So
Yeah. I don't remember Sentner having that good of a shot, quite honestly. I remember her having a shot
it
that
was
was
that one
close
with
to
the
the
left.
keeper.
It was that one with the left foot. So she was
If
cutting in and she was at the top of the box. And you look at her and you say, oh, she's going to rip that into the far post. And she actually took it to the left with her left foot near post and she nearly beat Murphy
Okay.
on that one.
it
Okay.
had like no power off the ground. If it
Yeah.
did, I think that one probably goes in.
Yeah,
Yeah. Probably because it was left-footed. I don't know.
maybe.
All right. Any other just key observations from this game? It's another 2-0 win, another clean sheet. Just
Um,
keep
Haley,
rolling.
Haley Mace got pressed with the ball a lot at her feet, much more so than the last two teams that the Current have faced. And I think it kind of forced her into some panicked long balls or panicked decisions that didn't allow the Current build up. And I'd be interested to see if teams try that again. Um, as the right center back, she's usually less pressed because she's not in that central location. They're not really worried about those balls from out wide in terms of those long balls there. Um, but when she was in that central position on the center backs, they were coming after her hard with Ashley Sanchez and Tyler Lucy. So
Yeah, I do feel like North Carolina did a pretty good press. And, like you mentioned, Curran didn't have a shot or good shot, at least in the first 20 minutes.
yeah,
They did a pretty good job of uh, keeping the Current from being themselves. But that's kind of one of the questions that was asked to the Current coach that was available today was Freya Coombe. And I asked her about how it was when teams are throwing something at the Current that they were not necessarily expecting, how much of it is the coaches making a change or the players learning on the fly and making the changes? And of course, the answer is, of course, the coaches send stuff in, but the players are learning to solve things because they are seeing different situations throughout the season. Because early in the season, you never know what a team's really going to throw at you. Later in the season, you know what teams are probably going to do or have in their toolkit to attack you with. So I do think that it's good for them to get that because you never know who you're going to face. You never know what the plan is going to be in the playoffs when another team is desperate to get a win.
yep.
Anything else
See
from
if
this
we
last game?
no.
No,
Right.
I think good to hear that Haley Mace that you added that Haley Mace part because she earned Team of the Week with Izzy and Labonta.
Mhm.
Just to throw that in there.
Interesting.
Look at
I don't
that.
know if watching it, I would have given her that in this case. She's been so good on some other ones.
Mm. It's owed. Accrued accrued owage or something like that. I don't know. Um, I will say this, you know what annoys me in voting for the monthly awards? You know what position Haley Mace is listed as?
Midfielder.
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing. I I sent an email about that today and I said, do you guys realize Haley Mace has been playing exclusively as a defender for the past 2 seasons and you have her as a midfielder? Can we please get that fixed?
We'll
And do
see
you
if
sell isms?
it's who puts that list together, Daniel?
The National Women's Soccer League.
Okay.
It
All
is
right.
not it is not the MA. We vote on it and yell at them to fix their mistakes. So,
Okay. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Life gets easier with great assists, and State Farm is here to dish one your way. Get in touch over the phone or on the app to get the teammate you need. State Farm with the assist. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
Got some good news for your ears. More of that good stuff is coming up. And even better news for your hair. The best hair care is at Sephora. They've got all kinds of products for every kind of hair. From brands like Amika, Kerastase, Day, and K18. You knew where to get great audio. Now, you know where to get great hair care too. Sephora, good news for great hair. Shop hair care now at Sephora.com.
Deborah had to have surgery.
I had hip surgery in November of 2024.
Her United Healthcare nurse, Crystal, checked on her.
We do a routine call after surgery, and I could tell that she was struggling.
Deborah needed help.
My infection markers were through the roof.
And Crystal knew what to do.
I called the hospital and said she's coming in.
And got Deborah the help she needed.
Crystal and United Healthcare saved my life.
Hear more stories like Deborah's at uhc.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan area. Limitation and exclusions apply.
All right, we're back. Next match, Bay FC.
Going, back to Cali. Going back to Cali.
I am glad you're here to talk soccer and not sing.
Is that supposed to be a well-known song?
Yes.
Oh.
Biggie. Oh my gosh, young Padawan, you must learn about Biggie Smalls.
I've heard the song that he's referring or referencing, but I would not have known who actually did it. So I don't know where our typical listener range is, but I'm old, Carrie's young. You're kind of middle-aged now, Sperry.
Oh, I've accepted that I'm middle-aged these days. You don't have to tell me.
2 kids, buying a house, happily talking about kid puking, all these things. That's just bad life.
Happily, I don't know about that. That's a little ad-libbing there, Thaddeus.
All right, Bay, 4-9-5 record, 21 goals, 27 against. What do we expect from Bay? A loss?
A fight? I don't know. I think Albertine Montoya always has his team. I've never seen them play a game where like their effort was questionable. And even when they do go down, at times they remind me of the team across town. Like when they do go down, they do respond a lot of times. This is not a team you want to go down to in the Kansas City Current in that way, but I'll be interested to see what they do because they didn't really get it right. I thought the Current could have kind of really run riot over them on Mother's Day, and they tried to do some things and it didn't work out. But I'll be interested to see what happens this time around, and I think it'll be tough. It's actually a pretty decent crowd that shows up there for Bay FC games, much more than the San Jose Earthquakes, and they are a pretty uh, decent team. They have good players that can cause some problems here and there. So I'd be interested to see how Albertine has that team set up to play this time around. But I, I think it'll be tougher than most think.
I
They are.
agree. I mean, Oshola just transferred to the Saudi Women's League as of
Mhm.
today or yesterday. So there always seems to be in this league that a good player leaves bump. It's like the manager bump, but you know, Utah Royals are now winning games without Ali Sentner, and just it is not on our side.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I'll be interested to watch it. I know it's decent, um, a decent team there. So, um, I don't, I feel for them where they're at in the table because I think they fight a lot harder than their record gives them credit for. Um, but yeah, I mean, also they are just like they're 7 points off the playoff line right now, so they're kind of drifting. Um, they have not had a good start to the second half of the season. I mean, that's 5 games now that they've played in the month of August, and they picked up 2 points. That is going to be a tough sledding when you do like that. But I mean, it's interesting because their expected goal differential per 90 minutes, based on uh, what they've done so far, would have them at fifth in the league, according to FBref. So it's a team that uh, seems to punch below um, their weight statistically. So we're really interested to see how things go this weekend.
And they haven't been shut out yet.
Oh,
Um, every single, well, except one, they've responded to goals, just like you said. So current should not be expecting that shutout as easily as it's been for the recent games. And this might actually have to test them for what happens if the team is right on the backs for another goal, or potentially if they're leading forehand.
Yeah, they're going back 7 games. They're winless in 7 games, 2 of them being draws, and the only two draws those against the Dash and the Stars, not the highest level teams there. So I
yeah,
don't expect them to get.
but it's one game it's one goal losses to the Wave. That goal in that game comes late. I believe no, it didn't. What game was it? Oh, was it Washington? The Washington Spirit game on the road in Washington. I think they were at 2-2 and lost at the last minute, like late stoppage time goal. Um, am I wrong?
No, I
You
mean,
tell
you're
me.
wrong. I just don't know which one it is.
I'm
Well, they
90% sure.
lost 2-3 to the Spirit, but it was at
Yes.
Bay's home.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. That was the football or the baseball stadium game.
Right.
Never mind.
Yeah.
They were down 3-1 and came back in that one. Um, so yeah, look, erase what I just said. You can cut it out, Thad. I'm just kidding. Don't worry
No,
about it.
no, no, no.
Let me be wrong for a second. But I do think that in general, um, I still think this team will fight a little bit and make it hard. They play close games.
They do, and the current dominate close games 2-0. I mean, they seem to score two and then not score anymore for most games. Not saying that it's the only, but it's a very consistent type of scoring. I mean, of the current's last however many games, 2-0, 2-0, 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0, 4-2, 2-1, 3-1, 1-0. Don't give up a lot of goals.
The last time that the game between Bay FC and an opponent was not decided by more than one goal Well, sorry, the last time a game for Bay FC that was decided by more than one goal, you have to go back to May 17th, where they beat Angel City. The time before that, a 4-0 loss or 4-1 loss to the Kansas City Current.
All right. Who does the Current need to look out for? Hawking? Is that right?
Yeah, Penelope Hawking, of course. Caroline Conti is also a pretty good player. She's got a goal. She has 3 goals, sorry. Um, they're all from penalty kicks. She's a good PK taker, though.
But 3 assists as well.
3 goals, 3 assists. She makes something happen. So, um, Kunananji, of course, still on the team, still a good player. But
Yeah. Not a lot of no high goal scorers, but kind of spread out pretty well.
yeah, Alyssa Mallinson's a pretty good fullback too. Um, she'll cause some problems. Caprice Didasco, of course, a normal player in terms of someone you expect to be solid in this league as a defender. So she'll be a
And
tough
Jordan
player to play
Silkowitz,
against. Yep.
she's done pretty well for a mediocre team. So
First time facing her.
No, she played.
No, just kidding. I
Come
realized
on.
that. I realized that.
Goodness gracious.
It will.
So long ago, or whatever it was,
It's been a long season in a way.
for one team more than the other, but
For different reasons. But yes, it will be the second time they face Jordan Sokowitz, but it will be the first time for one Miss Gabrielle Robinson.
It will be because she should be back.
Yes, her red
Suspension
card
is over.
suspension. She's back off of, or she's back on parole, back off, whatever. Yeah,
She's off parole.
Um,
She paid her dues. She's good.
She did. Do you think she gets the start?
I think maybe, although I don't think that Vlaco would do this, I would say we should be looking at maybe a halftime substitution for her, just so that we can ease her back into the game. Again, I don't think he's going to do that. So maybe like a 70th minute change for her to come back in.
I would not be opposed. Let's say it's 2-0, 3-0. Like what harm is there at this moment, 14 points clear of second place in the league, a playoff spot clinched 2 months before the end of the season. What is the harm in seeing if your NWSL Defender of the Year candidate and front runner should be in Kayla Sharples, and seeing how she works as the right center back with Gabrielle Robinson, the left-footed ball-playing center back, as the LCB in the system. I'm just trying it out. I see no harm in that, and that's something I'd love to see him try.
As a start.
As that, no, a halftime switch. I don't know about starting off that way.
Yeah,
That's why I was kind of saying, like, all right, if you're up 2-0 at halftime, like
Gotta get the
why not
lead.
try something? Why not try something here?
Yeah. No, you did say that. I just kind of lost the plot for a second. I admit my own mistakes too.
I didn't go that far off the reservation here, buddy.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I admit my faults, man.
I appreciate the language used, the slang used as I've lost the plot.
Is that cool to use? I don't know. I've really not been
Yes, it
cool.
is.
Oh, okay.
It makes you real Gen Z, Thad.
Shit.
Let's go.
I'm about as far from that as possible, right?
One of us. One of us.
What do you mean
I'm not
us? Hold up. Back it up.
I have enough. I feel like I have enough credit that I can like morph between millennial and Gen Z here.
I don't know. You're buying a house, so
Well, I'm one of the
that
last
separates.
millennials to do it, but yes.
Wife, 2 kids, and buying a house. We've already established that you are essentially middle age. Whether or not your physical age, you are now middle age. You are now trying to be a standard, generic suburbanite, mow the lawn, go golfing, And when you're trying to use the cool, hip language because it makes you Gen Z, that makes you less.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
Thad
Gen
can
Alpha.
do it.
I slip
Gen
into it
Alpha
because I've
just
heard
calls.
it somewhere.
Gen Alpha is just going to call me a boomer, so we're good.
Thad can use the language. Sperry, you cannot.
I cannot. You're right. I don't
And
have it in me.
I do have to say that I did not know that was a Gen Z thing, so I may not have used it if I had known it. And two, if I did it, it was just by somehow coming out. But when trying to do it, you're less cool, less whatever than possible. So
Can I
no,
just say
I don't know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
honestly I lost it too, so I'm done. I was gonna say something and it was not worth it. So
All right. So I know everybody tunes in for us to give each other crap, especially Carrie and I giving it's very hard time. But uh, back to a little bit of soccer. We've I'm trying to work my way back to this. Gabrielle Robinson is back, and she talked a little bit at press availability today. But one thing she was able to do, and I know that Carrie had mentioned this before, is that she's played some with the two team. Pretty sure Carrie had mentioned that. She played some with the two team when they've had their opportunities, and she talked about how it gave her an opportunity to play with teammates who don't really think of her as an injured player, just as a player, and they weren't trying to be considerate of her. So it's not like your own team trying to like not hurt you, and it let her just play and kind of get over that whole concept of you got to not think about being injured. You just got to play. So that was probably a good opportunity for her to use the two team to do that.
yeah, that's cool.
All right. Any other thoughts about Bay before I move on to some other topic?
What's your prediction, Thad?
3-1.
Okay.
I'll go
And go ahead,
I'll
Carrie.
go 2-1, including a penalty.
4.
I don't know. Someone.
Silkowitz taking down Claire Hutton in the box.
Sure.
Sperry?
Sure. Whatever floats your boat.
You know I don't believe any of these when I say them, right? But
No,
what's your
I'll
prediction?
say I'll go. All right. I said it was going to be a tough game, but I think I'll just go 3-0. Current.
You talked for so long about how they're one goal games, it's tough games, and then you just
Yeah,
3-0
you
it.
know what? They because it's been so long since they've actually had a 1-goal game. I knew I was going to talk myself into it and saying, "Oh, it's a 1-goal game. Oh, it's a 1-goal game," and it won't be because they're due to not have a 1-goal game because that's ridiculous to constantly play 1-goal games.
Didn't you say this about last week in the current defense
No,
about
I said this the last
not
time the
having a
current played.
shutout?
I said this the last time the current played Bay FC.
No, but last
On
week.
this podcast. Oh, yes, I did say that. But on this podcast, the last time I said they played Bay FC, I swear I said it was going to be a 1-0 game because Bay FC only plays like tight games, and it was 4-1. So
Right? He's arguing with the young person who has a good memory, not like these old people. Jeez. No, I did not do. Okay, yes, I did.
you're right.
Uh,
I did. I never said I didn't. I just was talking about something very different. That's all.
I wish I could rewind the tape right now, but I will not do
He's
that.
he's gonna be mumbling about this for the next few days.
I am like freaking dad.
He is, and he will give me crap tomorrow and Saturday and whenever we see each other. But that's fine. That's cool. All right, moving on from Bay game for a second. We've talked about it a little bit. The current are 14 points clear. How many games do they need to win to clinch the shield? Carrie, did you do the math?
No,
Somebody did the math.
we had so much discussion about this over our Slack and in our podcast, and I think I said the magic number to the shield was 12, and that was before a few games was played. So it's below that for sure. Uh, it's 11. I just ran the math right now in my head.
I
Oh,
saw
she
it
dared.
posted as 11, but
You give me credit.
no, I saw the wheels turning.
Yeah, I
Um,
have my calculator out.
I'm not anyway. 14 points up, 11 points. They will win the shield. Some combination of 11 points. Uh, maybe 12, but I'll go with everybody's 11. I'm not doing the math right now. I'm not going to claim I'm doing it, but just I mean, again, this is not trying to be Homer. It's just amazing how dominant when you look at the stats and the standings. 14 points up. They have 8 away wins, which is more wins than 10 teams have total. So like Seattle has 7 wins total. And they're in 5th place, and the Current have 8 wins away. That is just kind of unreal. The goal differential is 26. The goal differential is more than over half the teams have scored goals, period. What other little stats stand out to you guys that show how dominant they have been? I just took all the ones I wanted to, so I left you guys whatever.
I mean, I think the fact that their expected goal differential is twice as high. So get ready for this. This is their goal differential is like 0.6 low, or sorry, their expected goal numbers is 0.6 lower than Portland Thorns, who have scored 10 less goals. So the Current have scored 36 goals on a 30.8 xG. The Thorns have 26 goals on a 31.4. Their expected goal differential is 2 times as large as the Thorns, who have the second highest expected goal differential.
One of the stats that I know we talked about earlier in the season was goals plus assists per 90 minutes for individual players. The Current have the top 2 in that category, and tied with point 0.8, which is Timois and Michelle. Uh, and earlier, Michelle was actually way above anybody else, but she kind of had a few games where she didn't do as much as on the scoring sheet. But they also have 2 more players that are in the top 20, Bia and Dabinia. So again, 4 players in the top 20 in categories like that of creating goals. I assume Lorraine is leading the league in shutouts. What's the next closest, I wonder?
Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. I think it's Burger with 7.
Okay.
So Burger has 7. Lorena has 11. Lorena has the highest save percentage at 81%. She has the highest clean sheet percentage. She has a clean sheet in 58.8% of her games.
They show her as having 10 clean sheets.
They do. She has 11 though, because they haven't uploaded that number yet. So this is probably not through this weekend.
True, it does show 17 matches. Wonder why that would be. They've had time. Labor Day. They didn't want to work.
Probably.
So again, not to be homers. That's not the whole point of this. It's just that it is amazing at how dominant they are when you look at all the different stats.
Do you think that Jessica Berman will make her way to Kansas City to give us the shield? Because she was also showing up to all of the Lauren Holiday Impact Awards recognition nights, but she did not make Kansas City's.
Wonder why.
Which congrats to Claire Hutton. They won.
Congrats to Claire.
And Mine Drive.
And what is Mind Drive?
It is a STEM organization where they learn how to build cars and they can convert like diesel engines to electric cars and just a bunch of mechanical hands-on work.
Cool. So I know a lot of people voted for Claire. I guess if you can help the organization that she is allied with, or any other organization that helps kids learn, do so. There,
Isn't it
that was my
crazy
public
that,
service.
yeah, isn't it crazy that a small market can beat out giants like this? Like Bay FC had the baseball game within this time realm of being able to
Voting.
vote.
Yeah.
They could have easily popped up a QR code for them to scan, and who's to say they didn't? But I mean, setting a attendance record for a professional women's soccer team in the US and I don't know, still not getting the win, even though they were in first place until like just this week. I don't know. A little crazy. Trying to wrap my mind around it.
It is, like you said, kind of surprising. I'm always surprised when anybody from Kansas City wins the popular vote contests, essentially. I mean, maybe people just thought Claire's was better. She pulled off more votes from other places, but I didn't really look at the other ones. I don't know. I was so I'm surprised when somebody from Kansas City wins the goal of the week or save of the week, voting whichever team it is, just because there's other fan bases out there that will vote in block, in
Mhm.
mass. Throwing another subject out there, we got an opportunity this morning to talk to current two head coach Vasil Ristov and two of their players, Cindy Jones and Samantha Ogden. It was interesting. It was hard to like ask questions because I don't know those players, haven't seen them play, didn't know who they were until 10 seconds before I talked to them, their names. But Sidney Jones, defender who actually was like I think an emergency call up for Utah at one point, and Sam Ogden. Well, Sidney Jones is like 22, graduated from Ohio State, I believe, and Samantha Ogden is local and 15. So talking to her was very surprising at a how well spoken a 15-year-old is. I sometimes can't finish my thoughts, as anybody who listens to this knows. And she was just a really well poised player. So don't know how good she is. I've heard very good things about her. She's like in the ECNL best 11 in the last competition and stuff. So, but they are working towards having a team ready for when the NWSL does officially have a two league. Any other NWSL or US or current stuff that we should be discussing?
Melissa Thompson has potentially played her last game in the National Women's Soccer League. Seems like she is on her way to Chelsea for a $1 million plus transfer fee.
That's good for her, but I'll be disappointed. I like watching her play, and I won't watch her play over there very much.
Yep. But it is good for her. Good move. And probably good that some of these players get high dollar moves because, you know, the next time for the next person, it's going to be more. And the next time for the next person, it's going to be more. So
Very true. Um, any other interesting news around the world there, Carrie?
I don't think so. I feel like I had something in my mind, but then it just kind of went away in the last discussion. So
Yeah, my mind gets distracted sometimes too. Another thing, actually, I meant to throw out in this last segment was health. I know in the previous game, Timwa left limping. People were very worried about Cooper because she went down hard and looked hurt. Cooper was back in regular full training, it looked like today, and Timwa was training but off to the side. Looked like they were testing her to see what she is capable of doing. But when I asked Freya Coombe, when I asked Coach about it, she said there was nothing that they were concerned about. And I know some people, when I tweeted that out, took that as, Well, sounds like there's something to be concerned about. I think they just meant there's nothing long term. So, oh, you know what else we were supposed to bring up, Carrie?
Yeah.
All right, I I access Sperry will know this. Like, I will sometimes just blurt out stupid questions to coaches as they walk up. I asked Freya what her favorite fall drink was because people around me kept talking about pumpkin spice lattes and stuff, and it just seemed like throw a icebreaker out there since I don't know her that well. And she started talking about IPAs and doing stuff like that. I expected like a latte or macchiato or something that I don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
But in further discussions, somebody mentioned that they really liked a pumpkin ale. So I would like you to see if there's any good pumpkin ales in Kansas City that I can now report back to that staff member. I'm not going to name her. So
I cannot do that for you, but I can tell you there's some good pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks. Actually, I'm not a big fan of the pumpkin latte. I am a big fan of the pumpkin cream cold brew, which I had for the first time in this White Girl season of pumpkin spice. So
With the hairspray white girl.
it's funny because I love pumpkin stuff like pumpkin muffins, pumpkin bread. Like I even have pumpkin English muffins right now. But I've tried a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks and I thought it was one of the most disgusting things I have ever had.
I don't like the lattes that much. I like the cold brew. It's more coffee, a little bit of hint of the flavor to it.
I am not a pumpkin spice person for anything.
You do you like pumpkin? I know someone who genuinely despises pumpkin. Like
I
we
don't
tricked him
despise
one
it.
time into eating a cookie that was a pumpkin cookie, and he was a little annoyed.
Okay, well, if it's a cookie and someone's offering me a cookie, I'm gonna take the cookie. I'll eat like a slice of like pumpkin bread, but like not like your pumpkin spice lattes or even the cold brew does not sound great.
Yeah, me either.
My partner Isaac loves all things pumpkin, and so if he sees a pumpkin ale, he's getting it off the menu.
All right. So you go ask Isaac about pumpkin ales.
What do?
Sperry, I know you know some people who I know you don't drink, but I know other people that you know do. So maybe you can ask them.
I'll tell them. I'll say asking for a friend, and then
Yeah,
they'll be very confused
they'll be
as
very
to what's
sus of
happening.
you.
Okay, that's a wrap. We're done for the night. Good night.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening and do the rate review, whatever that stuff is supposed to be. I'm not very good at that, but unless these guys interrupt me before I finish, I think we are officially out.
Current.